Hey guys, it's the Pink King here, and today's the day! I asked you all several weeks ago to redraw this drawing I did of myself in my Halloween form. And you all did not disappoint with the amount of entries you guys put out. So, the rules are simple. I'm looking for artistic skill. How good are you at the level that you are at now? And finally, I'm looking for creativity. How much did you think outside of the box for your drawing? Also, be sure to follow all of these artists on their Instagram accounts. Link for that will be in the description, as always, so be sure to go follow them. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into reviewing them all. First up, we have my number one hater with this. Well, there was a attempt. Also, is that a Dilophosaurus skull? 10 out of 10. Then we have GNP Gothy Nerdy Princess with this beauty, and wow, the creativity here, top notch. The pumpkin vines, the body, the clothes, the staff with my normal self in there. This is all fantastic. I really love what you did here, conceptually. It's such a good concept. Although, I probably have to say the colour lacks a bit of depth. So if I were to give you some criticism here, I'd say work on your depth. I think it needs a little more depth. But other than that, I really like this drawing overall. You did fantastic. Next up, we have Romania Draws art with this beauty. Now, I really like this posing. It's really nice here. It brings such a nice character to it. Alongside those awesome details with the stitches and the lighting, that's a really nice and really spooky touch. Although, if I had to criticize it, I would say it feels a little bit plain. There's not much that pops out here in comparison to my original one. So maybe adding in a bit more brighter colors would be able to really emphasize and make your style pop out much better. But overall, yeah, I really liked what you did here. Great work. Following that, we have this piece by Rwxq. And hell yeah, the creativity is gushing here. The pumpkin coming out of my face is such a neat touch, alongside the split jaw, the more monstrous details, like the mouth and the faces in the background and the eyes. That eye looks so buggy, like an actual insect. I love that little detail. It's really spooky. Especially, I love the sort of oversaturated VHS look you've gone for here. It really gives this piece a good sense of texture and life to it. I just find that detail very nice. Fantastic work, I must say. Although, I feel like it's not as detailed as it could be. With stuff like the skin and the shirt, it feels a little plain in comparison to the detail and stuff like the hair, essentially. But it's still a really solid entry. I love it. Ollie the Gunter Enjoyer is up now. And this, although it's very different, it's still very nice. Taking reference from the more chubbier, smaller designs I have, I really feel like this one's very cartoony, and I love that. It feels like it's giving off its goofiness. And honestly, that goofiness is helping it stand out in comparison to the other ones, which go for a more horror aspect. So I think the goofiness here is a nice contrast, especially with the horrors that await us. Next, we have IGYG with this one, where they turned me into Catnap. Now, although this may not seem that impressive at first, I still really like it. I can tell you really did your best with what you could with the tools and the knowledge that you have of art, and I really like this. It's different, and it's traditionally drawn, so that gets a lot of points. It's a nice bit of character, and a bit of variation. I like that. Great work, I must say. Next up, we have another former Artist Tournament contestant with Strange Ella with this piece. And already I am impressed. As someone who was fortunate enough to get to see your work progress from the tournament, you've improved so much. The details here steal the show. The saliva, the teeth, the hand. It's so good and monstrous. You really made me look like a monster here, and I salute you on that because I am highly impressed. The only complaint? I think it could have been a bit more added to this, like certain lighting choices and shading to really help make this piece have dimension and stand out, because overall I think it looks a little flat. You know, it doesn't pop as much as I would want, but overall I'm still blown away by this work. I love it. I love all this monstrous goodness. And speaking of monsters, up next we have another artist tournament competitor, Monsteriro, someone who has already impressed me a lot with their work in the tournament and also made it into the top 3 artists of last year's Artist Awards that I hosted. And this is what she provided. 2 versions. Now, this is great. I gotta say, the color choice is so good here. It makes this design pop with vibrancy. I also love the personality you gave the little pumpkin inside. It's subtle, but I love how you made it look like a dick. I love that. Also, the static version really reminds me of like FNAF jump scares, you know, from the earlier games. I think that is a nice little bit of charm added in. In terms of creativity, there's not much here, unfortunately, you know, besides a few beautiful additional details. But honestly, this entry more than makes up for its lack in creativity with the strength of its execution. Another fantastic entry, I must say. Next up, we have Spinal Blue 3278 with
Shit! Fuck me! Shit! What the fuck? I don't fucking know! Fuck! Stop screaming! Stop!
Where do I begin? This is gruesome and awesome. It's gruesome. I don't know what possessed you to think of this, but I love it and keep it away from me at all costs. The details are off the charts. Those eyes, that pumpkin. You even added an eyeball to my neck, you monster. Those teeth also, like, wow. What do I even say to this? Bravo, Spinal Blue, bravo. You have successfully made me soil myself. Not only is the creativity on point, but the execution is phenomenal as well. The colors absolutely pop. You can see every little detail, and even the background was cleverly chosen with a subtle static effect. Yeah, you officially have blown my mind just now. Next, we have a certain favorite of you all. Some of you might recognize him. That's right, we have Diller Raptor up next. Now, I know me and him used to be rivals, but I promise you to give a fair review. It sucks, move on. But in all honesty, this is beautiful. Once again, your detail really strikes me here with the stuff like the vines, the hair, and the teeth. It's all really top-notch here, and even the way you made it look like I'm busting out of the screen is such a nice little touch. It's very impressive. I would say though, perhaps the lighting could be improved just a little. Maybe add a little purple glow around the edges to make it really look like I'm coming from the background. But overall, this one has a lot of character and uniqueness to it. I love that. And finally, we have someone who you guys might remember also. My teammate winner for Artist Tournament Endgame, Dakota, with this entry. And again, wow, you have really impressed me here with a lot of your stuff. The design of the teeth, the pumpkin, and the claws, it's all so spooky, and the way you portray it as me crawling out of the screen at an angle, it's just such a clever use of framing. It's beautiful. I love your style. Once again, you really show that your style provides a lot of character, and I think that is just fantastic. You've blown me away, and it's very clear now why you won the endgame video. A perfect entry to end off these submissions. Wow, that was a lot of entries, but before we finish, allow me to give my personal top 3 favourite entries out of them all. And can I just say, this was not an easy decision, because you all have really impressed me with this video, and you should be very proud of what you've done here, because I know I certainly am. So, for third place, I'm going to give it to Monsteriro. Although it wasn't the most creative, it was definitely the best executed with its gorgeous colours, the fantastic details, and the expressive design. Second place was a very hard one because both of these people have really outdone themselves here with what they could do, but ultimately second place has to go to Dakota because their use of creativity, execution was all phenomenal. They really have impressed me here with their pieces and deserve so much respect for this work. And finally, for first place, I gotta give it to Blue Spino. This piece legitimately made me feel uncomfortable in a good way. It worked so well with the creativity and the brilliant execution, and honestly, I hope I can bring you back in future for the inevitable Artist Tournament Season 2. But what about you, peeps? Which one of these entries impressed you the most, and which ones are your personal favourites? Be sure to type your thoughts in the comments below. I read all of your guys' comments, so it'd be very interesting to see what you guys think. Also, again, massive thank you to all the artists who submitted the work in this video. You are all awesome people and deserve a follow on your socials. Again, link in the description. And with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.